Welcome to the Everyday is Saturday podcast, the #1 motivation show on the planet.
No more Mondays for you. It's time to make every day Saturday. Boom!
This is the podcast where we help you to accept who you are, not where you are.
On the roller coaster of life, you know we only sit in the front seat, champion. So make sure you are fastened and tight. Let's go!
Tired of feeling run down all the time during the week? We can help you make every day feel like it's a Saturday.
Let's go. Pack your bags. It's time to leave Averageville.
Introducing the man who thinks abnormal stands for above normal.
When you're on fire, people will travel from miles around to watch you burn, baby. We are fired up.
The host of the Everyday is Saturday show, Sam Crowley.
Hello, champion, and welcome back to the Everyday Saturday podcast. Let's dive right into today's show. What do you sell? I get that question a lot. Sam, I don't understand. What do you sell? Like, I don't get it. Well, simple. I sell people on their own dreams. Everybody has one. It's somewhere in there for a lot of people, a lot of the individuals I speak with, middle-aged men and women, they lost it. They had it at one time, they just lost it. And this is what's wild. They got it. They had it at some point, probably when they were a kid, maybe even into their teenage years, maybe even into their 20s. But as they got around more and more people who just didn't really dream that big, or they just kind of settled into where they thought society was supposed to put them, in a job, after college, in a house they can't afford, a couple of cars, along comes the kids, and there goes the dream. Not because of the kids. That's not how I meant to frame it. I've got 4 beautiful kids myself. It's society. Society robbed them of the dream. They hung around individuals who didn't really have any aspirations, and they had their dream taken from them at some point in time, or they gave it away, you know? Here's what's a wild concept. Remember, we all had big dreams as kids. You know, I was going to play center field for the Yankees. Then I was going to play for the Philadelphia 76ers because I grew up in Pennsylvania, so I was a big Dr. J fan in the 76ers back when they won the NBA championship in 82, 83. And anyway, I was just big dreams. But nobody ever talked like that when I was around. My friends, we would dream, together. But I mean, mainly in my family. If you didn't come from a family of, if you had 2 parents, you were lucky. But if were they dreaming big? Were they dreaming big? If they did, man, you hit the lottery, because that doesn't happen a lot. Planting that seed of greatness inside of you. But then you get off to the workforce in my situation, and here's what's wild. And I wonder if this happened to you as well. The older I got, the more, we can't do that. No, geez, what do you want to do? Come on, man. What do you think? Come on, Just anytime I would share anything I thought was exciting, it was always met with, I wouldn't call it like bad ridiculing or things like that. Just kind of a laugh, Yeah, right. Well, I figured out either I'm going to continue to go down that road of, having these individuals, I needed somebody, first of all, to sell me on my dream. That's when I ran into my first mentor. When I talked about, I've shared on the podcast a million times before, that real estate boot camp I went to in 2002. It was a Wednesday night. It was raining in downtown Cincinnati. Every reason not to go, but something just pulled me to this, big cattle call to get 200 people in a room, free ticket, learn how to invest in real estate. But it wasn't even about the real estate investment part, though I did buy the course and went on to buy 40 rentals with no money down because I just used what they told me to do. I was one of the few people that actually took action to do it. But it has nothing to do with that. It was being in a room, originally of a couple hundred people, that was the nighttime version of this like in-person infomercial, because most people just went to get all hyped up and didn't do anything about it. There was a daytime version. They were in town for 3 days. I thought they were just talking to me. I didn't know they had 2 events a day, 3 days in a row, and they were there just to sell seminars. Had somebody told me that ahead of time, I might not have gone, because nobody was there to steal that, that big inspiration, that dream that I had. I was just going just completely naive. I'd never been in the seminar business, never been to one, didn't know that I was a mark in the front row, and they were just looking at me and selling me. But I was around individuals, originally there's a couple hundred. Then from everybody of those 3 days, the morning, the afternoon, the evening, people, they got it down to like 30 people bought this course for whatever it was, $1,000 at the time. And then they came back into town for 3 days. taught you, the basics of investing in real estate. Now we're in a room of 30 people. Everybody had this big dream. But then they sold you again. Imagine that, huh? Now that I've been around the block for 20 years, I can't even believe I didn't know this was happening. But I'm glad I didn't, because I bought that next level, ended up flying to Fort Myers, Florida, Sarasota, Florida. It was all over these different trips, real estate seminars, learning about cash flow and all these different things. And it just changed my mind. And at every level, I got into a smaller room of people with bigger dreams. And I think that's when the light bulb went off. If you're going to be around a group of people with big, big dreams, you're going to be in a small room. And it might just be you and somebody else. Because what you need is somebody to sell you on your own dream. Okay? So when people say, hey, what do you sell? Sam, what do you do? I sell people on their dream. There's $1 million message inside of them. And it's my job to get them to believe that, number one. To get rid of all of that layers of negativity, all the stuff in the past, all the failure, the bankruptcy, divorce, all the failures, everything that's happened in their life, and to help them understand that they have a unique message that the world, not everybody in the world, not all 8 billion people, but a segment of a group of people just like them who vibe with them, who would love to learn more from them, because this individual that I'm speaking to, for example, I let them know that you don't have to have everything figured out. You just need to be a step or two ahead of the person who you are mentoring so you can help unlock that dream inside of them. Sounds so simple, right? But yet it's so complicated for a lot of people to understand. Like I just tell people, podcast from my car in a Dunkin' Donuts parking lot. Usually gets a chuckle, a laugh, like, oh boy, I feel sorry for him. That guy must be must be on his last dollar. What's he doing yelling into his phone in his car? Well, who's going to understand that? If I were to be in a group of people at, say I'm at a cookout at, one of my daughter's friends' parents or something, and there's, 25 of us around and 99% of them are in the corporate world and they go to a job, they're not going to understand what I do. Sam, what do you do? Well, I sell people on their own dream. I help them understand they got $1 million message inside of them and launch that message to the world. They'd be like, who invited this guy? So, you know what I mean? Now, if I do find somebody off to the side, I'll start having a conversation one-on-one, tell them a little bit more about what I do. But again, if I were to have that conversation, I can just imagine back in my 20s at the bars when I was hanging out, or in my 30s around the water cooler in the corporate office scene. It's a waste of time. I had to go way outside of what I ever knew and to start finding other individuals, not a lot, just a few, that also had that vision, and there was a leader in that room who would sell us on our own dream. And I thought, you know what, I want to do that one day. That's what I want to do. I want to help people unlock their own passion. I want to help them create their own message like I created with Every Day is Saturday. I want to help them launch a podcast. I want to prove to them that they don't need a fancy studio equipment, anything like that. All they need is just the seed. That's it. Just the seed of a message. And I can help them from there. That's it. It sounds so simple. But boy, what a zigzaggy, complicated road it took. And I know why it takes that long, because we don't know any of this when we're in our late teens and our 20s, even into our 30s. Some people never figure it out. But you need that water splashed across the face moment, which in my case was my daughter asking Daddy, is tomorrow Saturday? I'm like, hey, light bulb, alarm bells, kid saying she never sees her dad but one day a week. Got to figure this out, correct it. Now, I could have very easily said, hey, come on, kid. I only see you one day a week, but look at this nice house we got. You got a McMansion. We got the old McMansion in the suburbs. Don't you like it? New build. Wasn't cheap. Don't you like that nice car in the driveway? Well, it occurred to me, and maybe because of how I grew up and all, not having a dad and everything like that, I think that had a lot to do with it as well, that kids don't want that. Kids want memories. They want time with their parents. And I'm not saying I'm Mike Brady, okay? I'm the greatest dad out there, but I tried. And I made a decision at the age of 37 years old that I'm not going down this road anymore. I'm just not going to do it. I want to sell other people. I want to figure this thing out. And then I want to build a brand off of selling other people on their dream and how they can achieve whatever that is. Whatever that is. You don't need to be a podcaster speaker, although I think everybody should have a podcast. Everybody has a story to share. everybody has a lesson to teach. I think everybody should have a podcast. But regardless of what it is that you do, there's no sense of sharing your $1 million dream with somebody who's got a 10-cent mind. It's just, there's no room for that. There's no reason for it. Get around a group of people, listen to podcasts like this, get in groups of people who share that same passion that you have. And I'm telling you, man, it changes your life. I'm living proof. It changes your life, okay? So I'm here to sell you on one thing, and that is that dream, wherever that is, however many layers of failure, adversity that it's sitting under right now, or maybe it's right there. Like maybe it's bubbling right at the top. Either way, it's there, and you have to take action on it. You've got, and I mean now. Not I'll think about it, I'll wait. No, you got to take action now, okay? So I hope that did sow a seed in good soil with you today. Share it with somebody that needs to hear it, all right? And I'll see you back on the show tomorrow. Have the best day ever. And that's a wrap. Another Everyday is Saturday podcast in the books. Thanks so much for listening. Would you do your boy a favor? Would you get on iTunes or wherever you listen to the Everyday Saturday podcast and leave a rating for the show? It helps amazing people like you find the show faster. And that's what I'm looking for, amazing people like you. Hey, I'm always hanging out on the interwebs. You can check me out on Instagram at EverydayIsSaturday. Let me know you're listening to the show. Love hearing from fans of the Everyday Saturday podcast. And one last thing, when you're ready to launch, get on my calendar, go to launchwithsam.com. You and I are going to work together to set rocket fuel to your dream. Are you ready? Let's do it. I'll see you on the next Everyday is Saturday podcast.